Hello everyone, this is again me, Anushri. Wanted to talk to you all. Um, have you heard that song? It's from the 50s or the late 40s, from the old times. Very sweet song. Geeta Dutt sang it. It goes like तकदीर से बिगड़ी हुई तकदीर बना ले तकदीर बना ले अपने पे भरोसा है तो ये दांव लगा ले दांव लगा ले. Then also from the old times there were songs like बाबूजी धीरे चलना प्यार में जरा संभलना ओ बड़े धोखे हैं इस राह में बाबूजी धीरे चलना. Why did I bring up these two songs? I was just thinking how the role of a woman dancing at a bar, how the portrayal of such a role has changed over the years. So back in the days, I'm not saying all of these songs, but a lot of these songs were lip synced upon by a cabaret character, where actually they were giving some kind of an advice to the protagonist. Maybe he was taking some kind of an important decision in life. Maybe they were stuck at some kind of a problem and they didn't know what to do. And then that advice came. अपने पे भरोसा है तो ये दांव लगा ले. There's another beautiful line in this song which says, इंसाफ तेरे साथ है इल्जाम उठा ले. Can you imagine the depth of what it says coming out of cabaret performer back in the days, in the movie of course, which basically means that justice and fairness is there, so doesn't matter, you can take the blame. These things are coming out from the woman who is dancing. So that's how, so she stood for wisdom. She stood for that moment. She was like a messiah. She's giving you a message, and the protagonist is, picking up on that, and he's realizing, okay, this is the way to look at things right now. Cut to now, in the recent past, where you know how a person who is dancing is reduced to being called an item girl song, item number girl. So from wisdom, from being the messenger of wisdom to Jhandu Bam and Munni Badna. Wow. But today, that's not exactly what I want to talk to you about. I was thinking about it, so I began there. Today, I want to talk to you about solitude, especially about people who call themselves or who are called loners, people who spend an extraordinary amount of time by themselves, apart from the time they're working or, meeting up with friends or acquaintances for work or otherwise. But yes, why they are called loners or why do they call themselves loners is because they like to spend a lot of time by themselves. Now, why do I want to talk about specifically this? Because I can relate to it. What I have a problem with, not really problem, but what I find a bit foolish is trying to glorify or trying to criticize this aspect, this character, this trait of being a loner. Because when a person is a loner, it's neither something he or she needs to justify, nor something that he or she needs to be embarrassed by. And of course, not something that needs to be all that you're defined by. Because there is a single adjective cannot describe a human being. It's just like calling somebody an introvert or an extrovert. It doesn't work like that. Nobody is one thing, We are we are a very complex composition, human bodies. We cannot be just one thing, it's not possible. So a person who is extrovert, you'll see those people folding up in certain situations, and a person who's an introvert, you'll see them dancing and cracking jokes and becoming extremely comfortable in certain kind of ambiences. So yeah, that's what I want to talk about, that there is no one adjective that is ever going to be enough to define a person. So a person who likes to be alone is a person who is not like any zombie. He or she knows how to conduct themselves amongst people. They can be very caring, they can be very empathetic, they can be very friendly, and they can be charming and witty, everything. Thing is, it just drains them early compared to other people when they're with a lot of people, or maybe with a group of people, or with 2 or 3 people, whatever that is. Usually you'll find them one-on-one. They are not usually people who, keep getting into group activities or things like that. So yeah, that's that, as I was saying. So they do those things, but they can keep doing those things as long as they keep having a good amount of time to be by themselves. Now, when they are by themselves, this is another myth that they're ecstatic when they are by themselves. It's not like that. They exactly know that I'm by myself, I'm alone. And it's not that all the time when a loner is by herself or by himself that they are doing extremely complicated stuff. They're painting, they're singing, they're doing this, they're doing that. No, it's not that they have consciously picked out the time to do something phenomenal or constructive or creative or artistic. They do that. Of course, they do that too. But a lot of times they are by themselves, doing nothing, because that's all they need. It's important for them. They need it, like they need water, or they need juice, or they need dinner, or they need lunch, So that is basically what a loner is like. I'm telling you all this because I am one such person, and it's coming from the horse's mouth. So I see a lot of social media content, and a lot of people even using it, cashing in, marketing that, I am a loner, but so this means this means that. They make fancy content on that, and I find it pretty, I don't know, I think this needs to be dealt with in a much more sophisticated fashion, and not just converted into something that sells all the time. So I can talk for myself. There can be many kind of loners, by the way. I sing, I perform, I write music. In my free time, I also read palm, as you know. That also takes up a lot of cerebral energy when I'm not making music, which is beautiful. I love the way it impacts my head and my heart. And but a whole lot of that activity, so somehow maybe I'm engineered that way, that I'm in a profession where I need to, spend some quality time with myself when I'm writing a song, when I'm making a tune, when I'm analyzing a poem, when I'm reading poem. So sometimes that also happens, that subconsciously you create a profession around you, or you create an energy field around you which enables you to spend some good time with yourself. Now, having said that, do not think that people who say they are loners, or people who say they like to be by themselves, far more frequently than others, it doesn't mean that they are always euphoric when they're doing that. No. Because, see, you give what you get. Sorry, you get what you give. Sorry about that. So people who like to stay for a number of hours by themselves, apart from hanging out with friends from time to time, they also exude that energy. So for all of you out there who like to be by themselves, who are, kind of loners or whatever you call it, I would request them to also be okay when you are reciprocated with in a similar fashion. Because when you are a loner, you should be okay with the fact that you exude that energy as well. You don't necessarily always exude a welcoming energy that, come over, we'll party. You don't do that because it's not natural. If you are a person who likes to be by themselves for many hours, you are bound to exude that energy. So when you exude that energy, you should be okay with the fact that you won't have a lot of friends. You shouldn't have a problem with that. My point of focus here is not that you won't have a lot of friends. My point of focus here is you should be absolutely fine with that. Why? Because you're getting what you're giving out. When you are a bit by yourself, when you're working, see, that is also the irony of our profession. When I'm on stage, a lot of people who know me from a distance, often, even my cousin, my sisters told me that you always thought you're wild and, I'm on stage and I'm rocking it out. But no, in real life, I'm very, I'm very me time kind of a person. And I also mix with quality people, and I have nice conversations with them. I can have a cup of coffee with them, but then I come back and I need that time with myself. So where was I? Yeah, so when we do that, it's not that as in, I think we should be aware, as I was saying, that I'll repeat myself here, that you should be okay with the fact that you will get what you exude. And what we exude when we are people who prefer being by themselves, for quite many hours, after work or before work, you should be okay with what it exudes. And what's the consequence of it? The consequence of it will be that a person who is a loner will always find out that they are by themselves for quite many hours. Why? Because that is exactly what you called for, because of the way you are. I'm not saying it's good or bad. All I'm saying is it is exactly how it is. So to all my dear ones, to all my friends who can relate to what I'm saying, all I want to tell them is that please, just the way you're okay with being a loner, if you wish to call it so, I would say that, maybe a solitude lover. If you are okay with being like that, you should also be okay with what it brings with it. And you should also be okay with, if you are by yourself, it's not that all the time you're going to do something amazing. So don't be upset when you are like just sitting and doing nothing. That time need not bring in grief or bring in sadness. That time is just that time, It comes in a package. If you are a person who likes to be by yourself, then all these are part of the package. Similarly, if you're a person who is very social, loves to be with people all the time, that also has its own baggage, or its own byproduct, which you also have to accept. Similarly, so all I'm saying is, being a loner is not a definition enough for a person. It's just one of those traits. A person can be wonderful and creative and intelligent and a loner and sporty and musical. Just one of those traits. Don't give it more importance than it should have. All I'm saying is, you don't need to, in your mind or for even others, calling you so, it need not really mean anything beyond what it means. It just means you like to spend a lot of time by yourself, and with it comes bouts of feeling like, okay, I'm by myself, and it will sometimes make you sad, but it'll also keep making you who you are. It doesn't mean you're any less wonderful. It doesn't mean you're any less interesting or intelligent or musical or creative or sporty, whatever you are. You are all those things. You are a good friend. You're somebody who others can count on. All it means is, apart from doing everything that you would do as a friend, as a person, as a professional, you need that time to yourself. That is nutrition for you. That's all that it means. Sorry about the noise across the door. So that's all I wanted to talk to you about, and want to send out a lot of love for the season coming in. And yes, don't feel lonely, and enjoy the time that you get to spend with yourself and dear loners. And this is not a sympathy post. All I'm saying is just look at it as it is. Don't romanticize it, don't look down upon it. It's just one of the many traits that make you and make me and make everyone. So lots of love. Have a superb December, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.